Online is no longer a place you can or can't be. For almost all of Gen Z, it's a constant state of being, of existence, an inescapable virtual prison that consumes you. Algorithms, ads, and trends are all targeted attacks on your agency and identity. It's human nature to categorize, to classify. This codification keeps our minds at peace, but why? Because the unknown and uncertain terrify us. Initially, it may have been a survival tactic, but now it's turned into something that makes survival all the more difficult. We already see intensified division in our politics, economies, and societies, but we've begun to divide ourselves on even the simplest of terms. Aesthetics, cores, and niches may make us feel as though we have something in common with an internet stranger, or a perceived societal stereotype. But have we really connected? I'm a part of Gen Z, the generation born between 1997 and 2012. And personally, I feel like I've been so lucky. I won the lottery with the people I have in my life, the love I have in my life. I grew up in the Bay Area, in California. The skies were blue and the days were good. Sure, I was a shy child through most of school. I kept to myself, I had a couple friends. I was an only child, so I spent a lot of time with myself. And when I got to college at NYU, my biggest fear was that I would continue these self-isolating habits. I had somehow convinced myself that I was an introvert and I didn't need people the way that others did. But, like I said, I was very lucky. My roommates became my friends instantly. Since then, I've grown in so many ways. Socially, personally, in terms of identity, style, passion, and above all, I've learned that I love people. But even as a college student enrolled in a university with 62,000 students, located in a densely populated city of 8 million people, why do I still feel alone sometimes? Actually, a lot of the time. And research shows I'm not alone in feeling this way. According to a study done in 2023, 73% of Gen Z reports feeling alone sometimes or always. That's almost 3 in every 4 people from my generation. I started to think a lot about loneliness. Not just in the virtual space, but the loneliness that crept into our daily, physical lives. I came across tons of articles asking the same question. Why is Gen Z so lonely? And so my hunt for the answer began. My friends and I all suffer the same chokehold of social media and technology. But rarely do we engage in conversations about it. It almost feels too obvious to address. But I sat down with my friends, Ducati and Pasha, to talk about loneliness. Our conversations revealed various aspects of this loneliness epidemic and our respective experiences, some similar and some different. This is Ducati. She's also an NYU student and one of my closest friends.
Immerse myself in life completely. Yeah, absolutely.
Ducati believes that phones, serving as constant mediaries between humans, have contributed to a lack of real connection.
The problem is the phone because this is the mediary. You can go on Instagram and feel like you have friends, or you can go on Twitter. Sorry that name Twitter, but you can go on Twitter and be like, oh, I'm in my community right now. And you very well might be. But you have to, when you get off Twitter, where is it at? Like you have to have this mediator between you and other people. That's hard.
Like much of our generation, Ducati spent approximately 6 hours a day on her phone. A lot of that time engaged with social media. She wanted to start taking steps to start pushing back against that. So she opted out. Ducati has intentionally been off of Instagram for about a year and a half.
You just find yourself scrolling and you're just like, I'm not enjoying this right now, but I keep doing it. Why? I don't know. I'm like this close to deleting it because deactivation was the goal when I did it. But now I'm like, I should have something. Like, I've had Instagram for all these years and I have these memories on here. So I'm like, I want to keep those, but I don't actually want my account to be on there. I don't really need to be discoverable, I feel like.
Gen Zers average about 6+ hours a day on their phones. 6 or more hours a day being connected to everything and everyone, digitally, but not in person. I spend about 4 hours on average staring at my phone. Hours I could be connecting with friends in person or meeting new people. My friend Pasha has been grappling with similar questions about their relationship with their phone and feelings of loneliness. We met during our freshman year at NYU, but we really bonded during our semester abroad in Prague. Both of us showed up to a new country knowing absolutely no one. The first half of the semester was rough. We both felt pretty lonely. Things started to turn around about halfway through our time in the Czech Republic, and we both look back at that time very fondly. But even today, Pasha has been on the quest of self-discovery and living in the moment. I asked them what loneliness meant for them.
Loneliness. I feel like I should start off by saying, like, I don't feel like I'm that lonely of a person. Like, I feel like I know that I have people in my life that I care about, that care about me, that I can go to for different parts of my life. I think that feeling lonely is the ability to convince yourself that that's not true. And I feel like there are so many factors in this generation that make it that much easier for people to convince themselves that they don't have any resources or any options. I think being lonely for me has looked like isolation. I think it's looked like hyperbolizing. I think it's looked like, staying in my room when I know that there are other things that I could be doing, and then attacking myself for staying in my room.
It's surprising how easy it is to convince yourself of loneliness, of inadequacy, and then to attack yourself for feeling helpless. I feel like today it's all about perception. How does someone else perceive you? How are you perceiving someone else? What does a like mean on a post versus a comment? Social media metrics have become a currency, and it's exhausting.
It all comes back to people's needs, people's wants, people's desires, and how they are being met or not met by their environment, and the people in their environment. And I think when that environment is digital, it becomes so much easier to change out the need to meet someone versus the need to perceive someone.
Coming to college was really good for me, and I think the people that I've met here have been great, and the experiences that I've had have really allowed me to open up and kind of be in my own corner about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I think now that we're just talking about this, loneliness stems from the fear of messing up, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Or just this anxiety about the way that you're perceived.
For a lot of Gen Z, this started from a young age. I had Instagram and Snapchat by the time I was 12 or 13. For me, it was never about finding community digitally. It was about perfecting myself to be the best and coolest version of myself. Not so that I could be completely accepted, but simply so I wouldn't be left out. It was a pitiful bare minimum I was chasing after. Again, I wasn't alone.
There was a moment when I was in 7th grade, or maybe 8th grade, and I had I had done it, I had found a way to not be lonely, which I don't think I was lonely in elementary school. I just didn't have the social validation that was portrayed as being the ideal in either media that I watched or just sort of in the norms or what values were presented as being better than others. It's not even the fear of missing out. It's like, this means that I am not a good enough person to be with these people. And that is what was communicated when I saw them hanging out on a device without me.
This fear of missing out is only augmented through social media and constant interconnection. I know what the people I follow are doing at nearly every moment.
I think the times that I feel most alone are when I go down spirals of regret, where it's triggered by one piece of information that my brain can play with and create like an infinite realm of possibilities on why that makes me an evil person.
Things have only gone from bad to worse.
Well, earlier this month, U.S. Surgeon General shone a light on the problems associated with loneliness by declaring it an American epidemic. He said the growing isolation in society poses a health risk as deadly as smoking. In an 80-page report, Dr. Vivek Murthy said, "We now know that loneliness is a common feeling that many people experience. It's like hunger or thirst. It's a feeling the body sends us when something we need for survival is missing."
The loneliness epidemic is now a national health crisis. To get a better understanding of the reasons behind this crisis, I spoke with Charles Stone, an associate professor of psychology at John Jay College.
We are social creatures, right? There's lots of evidence throughout the history of psychology, right? If you isolate individuals, they don't do very well, right? Losing social skills is one thing, but they just don't develop. They don't have the neurotransmitters don't kind of connect as much. Social interaction is critical.
It's evident that social interaction is a basic human need. But the channels of meeting that need have changed so drastically for my generation.
That is one unique thing that your generation, arguably that's the biggest change, I think, is the possibilities of social interactions. But if you're in the process of trying to forge social groups and social identity and so forth, the internet is cognitively taxing, right? Who do you want to be friends with online? Anyone you want, basically, right? And so that's a lot of work and trying to navigate the psychology behind that amount of possibilities is hard.
Though it's not the most exciting solution, the elusive cure to loneliness may simply just be more in-person quality time. Companies like Hinge, the popular dating app, have taken it upon themselves to be advocates for deeper social connection. Modern dating and hookup culture are commonly cited as causes of loneliness. Personally, I can relate. I've been on dating apps for about 2 years now, and I've met some great people. Others, not so great. But what I can say with certainty is that it takes a toll. You're curating this ideal version of yourself that's supposed to satiate all possible palates. At the same time, though, you're playing God. You hold immense power. You decide what happens to the millions of options you have at your disposal. It really messes with your mind.
Okay, we haven't talked about the finger, the power of the finger. This is, if you are channeling the entire world and your entire perception of it through this magical little tip of the thing where just the contact of it can go, this person, yeah, and or this person, yeah, I don't know. It's fucking crazy. This finger, of course I'm gonna feel fucking powerless if everything is right here, if it feels like it's a direct mind to the finger thing, which is it's not. But that's what the narrative has us, we fit that mold, we fit that shape.
When you wield this power of connection at the tip of your finger, it takes away the effort and intention behind connecting with people. Everything becomes too easy. In 2024, Hinge announced their new social impact initiative called One More Hour, incentivizing Gen Z to add more in-person connection in their lives. they dedicated a $1 million fund to social groups and organizations that are exclusively working to help Gen Z find belonging and community in person across 3 major U.S. cities: LA, Atlanta, and here in New York.
Part of it is also the lack of actual physical structures that we have to bring about community. I feel least alone on my day-to-day life on campus when I can go to the radio station and I know that I have people that I can hang out with, or at least an environment that I know I will introduce myself if there's a new person there, because I want it to be a welcoming space. Mm-hmm. And I want to have a physical space that can foster that sort of community.
Where could I find that welcoming space Pasha was talking about? Before I knew it, I was on the hunt for like-minded New Yorkers, with the mission of connection on their minds. That's what I met Toby and Moises, the founders of 10 Chairs, a social dinner club here in New York City. 10 Chairs was the product of their entrepreneurial curiosity and desire for a place and people that felt like home.
I was alone. I would spend most weekends by myself. It was good for my career because I spent a lot of time working, but it was something where it's I moved to, what most people make out to be the best city in the world, and I felt like I just wanted to, get on the first plane out of here.
Moises isn't alone in how he feels. The New York City Department of Health reports that more than half of New Yorkers report feeling lonely at least some of the time.
And so I think to that end, there's a lot of people, who just moved to the city, who have a very similar story as I do. They want to feel involved. They want to feel like they're part of something or part of a group. Especially in a city with so many people that you see all the time on the train that you don't interact with, that just feels like you're part of a movie, but you're not really, interacting with anybody. And so I think there's a huge need for it.
Despite working full-time jobs during the day, Toby and Moises host monthly intimate dinners at their cozy Brooklyn apartment. They do everything from the invitations, advertising, and cooking to create a long-awaited night of connection and bonding. Funnily enough, the story of breaking bread actually started with an ingredient as simple as olive oil.
The idea was every single Friday, bring a new set of people, just to have the widest audience available to try our olive oil. And as we continued doing these dinners and as the group got larger, we realized that the passion for us wasn't so much the product that we were selling, but more so the experiences that we were gathering with these people. And from that moment forward, we decided to pivot.
So I think, and I think it's also one of the things we realized from doing these dinners, is that people are just tired to have shallow conversations at a bar repetitively, all the time, and that's the only way that they'll meet new people. And I think sitting down and having dinner with someone there's something to be said about sort of that familial aspect that's similar to we're both Latin, so it's very similar to how we grew up, and have dinner with the parents every night, or dinner with the family, and during the week of the entire extended family, and share memories, experiences, talk about our week, and sort of build stronger relationships.
Organizing their dinners has been time-consuming and costly. But what makes it worth it in the end is hearing that their guests have left feeling more connected and less alone than before.
This group of 5 friends, or 5 at the time random people, who all came to our first big dinner, which was 30 people. They didn't know each other, they met there, and then they met each other again at our sailboat party. And through that time, we've picked them out, we've spoken to them, we've gotten to get to know them, and they've all at some point, have come to one of these intimate dinners at our apartment. Fast forward to now, they texted us not too long ago saying that if we wanted to go to Tulum with them. 5 people who had never met before, only, in a couple of our different events, and have truly become and are good friends to this day, and just came back from Tulum, actually.
Toby and Moises are just one group out of many. I found numerous other social groups catering to the lonely youth looking to change their realities. This is Owen. Owen founded Peak and Pace, a fairly new local run club that has amassed almost 30K followers on Instagram. Owen moved to the city a little over a year ago and found himself spending weekends cooped up inside and alone, not the New York City lifestyle he was promised. After a trip to Boston where he saw some run communities, he was inspired to start his own. And since then, Peak and Pace has been gathering runners across the Big Apple.
It's something that we're going to continue to do going forward. We want to bring more people into this. We want to be the biggest community in New York City, and I genuinely think that we will be the biggest, diverse community in the whole of New York. So yeah, it's a work in progress for sure. We still have a lot of things to iron out, but we're getting there, yeah.
I documented Peak and Pace's weekly Saturday morning run at Prospect Park this fall. I was introduced to the vibrant community comprised of seasoned runners as well as newcomers ready to pick up a new hobby. Although running might be part of Peak and Pace's promise to their members, Owen believes that community should continue to be nurtured and fostered outside of their runs.
We're all about inclusivity and about getting people together into one place. So yeah, now we're at the social right here, as you can see, and we're having a good time, so yeah.
Their post-run socials are very popular. I mean, who doesn't want a nice warm meal and a little drink to go with after a run? Not to mention, there's typically games, DJs, dancing, and dogs. There are countless communities like 10 Chairs and Peak and Pace across New York City, bringing people together, including chess clubs, which I was surprised to find are thriving within the young urban community, providing yet another space for connection. In the end, after creating this film, I've come to see what has always been around me. I have friends, I have love, and I have community. But I've also begun to realize that maybe the phone or the platform isn't necessarily the enemy. 10 Chairs, Peak and Pace, and Pawn Chess didn't find community in spite of social media, but because of it. They used it as a bridge, not as a barrier. I leave this experience not looking to escape my world, but to meet it as it is, to adapt and to embrace it in order to enhance the things that really matter. The answer is not in our phones. The answer lies in each other. But when the phone rings, maybe we should answer it.